Hey, it's Doc from Springtail. Today we are going to do the assembly and installation of a JK Unlimited side rack. The JK Unlimited side rack is essentially the workhorse of our entire JK lineup. It's designed to hold very heavy objects such as a 15-pound power tank or perhaps large fire extinguishers. Recently we've updated it so there's also a rather substantially sized cubby hole in the top in which you can place a large ammo can or perhaps some other heavier recovery equipment. So let's get on with the steps of the assembly. The first step will be to assemble the bottom of the cubby. So you take the base plate and then we're going to put the sides on using the 1/4-inch bolts. You can tighten these up somewhat, but leave it just a little bit loose because there's going to be some adjustment later. So what I've done is I've just slightly tightened these up so they still have a little bit of play. That will be important later when we're doing some adjusting. Then we'll take the very top plate and place that on top. We'll put in the 3 bolts on this side. I finished putting in the bolts on this side, and I've left them a little bit loose so we can still have some adjustability to the rack. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put on this triangular wedge-shaped piece, which will slide in right here. There we go. And again, I will just very lightly tighten those up. Now what you want to do is you want to assemble the MPAC grid onto the cubby in the top panel. This is a little bit awkward, so you might actually want to have another person hold the rack up for you. I've just placed in a bolt to hold it in place while I put the rest of the bolts in. And again, tighten the bolts up, but leave yourself a little bit of room for adjustability. After we put on the MPAC grid, what we'll do is we'll flip the unit over so we can put the mounting plate on, which is on like this. You can cut it. Alright, now that we have the unit loosely assembled, we're going to take it over to the Wrangler and put it in. For the sake of time, what I've done is I've removed the bolts from the striker area by the door. Up here, the Torx heads that hold the hardtop on, and also the bolt that holds the rear bolt for the rear seat. So, what we're going to do is we're going to slide the unit in place. Find that rear seat bolt, put that in. I put the seat bolt on down here. What we're going to do is just loosely put in the Torx head screws up here, and then we need to reinstall the striker in the rear. We're going to replace the striker plate back in the door area. There we go. And then essentially we'll tighten all the mounting areas down. In order for us to build in the adjustability to work with both hard tops and soft tops and the range of space that varies between them, we had to leave a degree of adjustability, and that's why I had you leave the bolts loose at this point. So I've bolted down all the major mounts, and what we're going to do now is we're going to start tightening up the bolts that you can reach on the side rack. I find also that it's easier to use a standard Allen key instead of the T-handles. It's easier to get to all the bolts. At this point I've tightened up what I can, and so I've removed all the mount bolts here. And we're going to pull the unit out, and we'll take it over to the bench and tighten everything up. I tightened up all the bolts on the JK side rack and reinstalled it, which only takes a couple of minutes. Now it's all ready for whatever heavy duty plans you have for it. One thing I did fail to mention before is we do also include a top plate which can be placed on top of the cubby hole and bolted in with 4 1/4-inch bolts to hold anything exceptionally heavy that you want to stay in place. Thank you very much. Enjoy your JK side rack.